Welcome back to another episode of the Growth 48 podcast. In this episode, you'll be learning how to scale your coaching business like a rock star and make money like Anthony Robbins. But before we get into this episode today, if you missed last week's podcast, I had my good friend Nicholas Kuzmich on, and we talked about the latest trends in Facebook marketing. So if you're looking to expand and scale your business on a paid acquisition level, I highly recommend you check out last week's episode with Nicholas Kuzmich. So today's special guest on the podcast is my dear friend, Jeremy Bellotti. Now, Jeremy Bellotti helps entrepreneurs live a high-performance lifestyle. He's a TEDx speaker, author, and founder of Fit Life Entrepreneur, and one of the top leadership and entrepreneurial peak performance trainers for innovative startup multi-million-dollar businesses, and he's a thought leader around the world. So today's podcast, you're going to be learning exactly step by step on what Jeremy did to scale his coaching business. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to be shocked and surprised at some of the things Jeremy says, because he's not going to be talking about the traditional things that most people do. No, he really breaks down the nitty-gritty on what it took to scale his business. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Growth 48 podcast, where we interview top entrepreneurs and investors to learn how to master their strategies and tactics, from sales systems and marketing automations to how and why they invest in companies.
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's crazy. We were talking about like half an hour before the actual podcast started.
I felt like I was interviewing you, man.
It's good for a change, right? I've been like away. I had like hiatus on a podcast. It's been like 6 months. So I'm happy to be back, and especially with this new format, which is like short, sweet, right to the point, which is a great segue into what we're going to be talking about today. Is like, you've been killing it lately, and I'd love to know exactly the two different aspects of what it took to grow your online business, from the high level strategy thinking all the way down to the tactics. So if you can kind of quickly run us through, what was kind of like the inception of your idea, and what was the high level thinking into like, how did you actually execute this on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, no, and I absolutely love the structure. So thank you for putting this together, because there's nothing worse that I hate than listening to an hour-long podcast and I learned one thing. So
like the 95% of them out there.
Oh my gosh, dude. I could care less about people's story anymore. I've like heard it. Like, give me something tangible to truly work with. So yeah, no, thanks for putting something like this together. This is awesome. So yeah, when it came to strategy, bottom line is my idea was probably very similar to people that are listening, which is I just want to help people. I want to serve people, entrepreneurs in particular, who are really looking to create something impactful and, serve others in a really big way. And so I knew that I had something within me to truly be able to make a massive impact in being able to do that. And by all means, I've gone to other conferences. I went to, all these things, trying to figure out and trying to get my ideas validated from other people. And what ends up happening, and most of the people listening to this probably know this, what ends up happening is that you go share your idea, and what do they say? Oh, it's too broad, that you're not going to be able to do that. There's some things you might need to work on. And all this it just ends up, it doesn't validate anything. The only thing it validates is that you need to continue working on all these other different, things that don't really make any difference to the one thing that matters, which is growing your business and, driving revenue so that you can help more people. So one of the most tangible things that I did was stopped doing that. I stopped looking for validation from anyone else and really looked at what is the tangible thing that I can offer right now, this second, that adds value to someone else. And once I started looking at that, I found solutions. Because what you're doing when it comes to, find your niche, find your avatar, find that person, that one person in this world out of 7 billion that just fits the perfect person you want to work with. That's all, in many ways, it's just bullshit in terms of how it's presented, because niches are not, this guy, Jeff, that goes to his job, it's not this one person that wears khakis. Like, niches are necessary solutions to specific challenges or problems. So what's that one constant with those you typically work with that you are solving for them? And so I really started diving into that and really started understanding who I was, the value that I brought to the table. And I finally, it was so clear once you have that conversation with yourself that it's like, okay, I'm really passionate about X, Y, and Z. Let's say you're passionate about fitness. Okay, I'm passionate about fitness. What do I love about fitness? I love the fact that I'm able to transform somebody's body from being, morbidly obese to being able to start moving and being active and start getting involved with things that they haven't typically been involved with. Awesome. Guess what? You're going to focus on weight loss, and you're going to focus on a community that would love to be able to transform their life. It's very simple. And one of the things that I learned throughout this process was success is innately simple. It has to be.
What does Bruce Lee say? Simplicity is the key to brilliance.
Seriously. Well, if you think about it, if you reverse engineer that, success has to be simple. Because if you overcomplicate shit, you're never going to be successful. So just start re-engineering this stuff, and it's very simple. Going back to the seminar stuff, if you re-engineer the strategy of getting verification from everybody else, you're never going to get verified because everybody else has their own damn opinion.
So then once you discovered this, what was the next crucial steps to actually launch this?
Dude, the next crucial steps of finally discovering what the solution is that I solve was understanding that I really needed to get support in doing that. I think that's another thing. And what I mean by support is, again, not validating and all that other junk. It's actually, okay, I found the solution. Now I'm writing a plan of how to execute that solution. I have a solution. I know where I want to go. Let's say, for example, you have a goal of making $10,000 a month and earning six figures, in your business. Okay, awesome. Now you have a goal. What is re-engineering that goal? What is working backwards, the steps that you would need to take? And I'm talking about tangible steps, meaning, okay, I would definitely need a website. I would definitely need a funnel and a way to bring in money. I would definitely need.
So would you say that's the first thing that you did? You started creating your website and made a basic funnel?
So actually, no. I actually even went one step before that, which I think a lot of people overlook because they get stuck in that creation phase of funnels and of websites. There's actually a step before that, which is actually driving revenue. And we kind of like, seriously, we actually, you mentioned it at the end of us talking just before, which is you have to validate your freaking idea. You have to validate your business. If you're creating a business just to create a business and hope that people are going to show up and hope that people are going to come, it's not going to happen. You have to validate.
I call that marketing. It's the best form. I just hope.
Oh my God, dude. Seriously. I see so many people are spending 6 months to a year building a website, building funnels and doing all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, have you asked your market what they want? No. Have you gotten any sales at all during that time? No. Okay, so you don't have a business. If you are just creating and if you're not bringing in revenue, you don't have a business. And I know that can be hard for a lot of people to take because, I'm not starting this business to make, it's not about the money. Yeah, it is about the money. Your relationship with the money might be all fucked up, but that doesn't mean that it's not about the money. The money is energy flow into your business that allows you to, guess what? Create more energy to help more people. So the money is absolutely the end game. It's just you need to reshape your relationship with what money represents in the equation, because money is not this evil, tangible thing that you're going after. Money is the form.
So let me ask you this, Jeremy. What did you do to start pre-selling it?
To pre-sell it, I ended up just talking to people. Literally
awesome.
Talking to
Take
people.
Us through. Like, what did you do? You just called up people. Hey, I got this program or product. What do you think?
100%. So I ended up mapping it out, right? So I have my solution. I have I know what I'm going to do for someone. And therefore I called them. And so I literally put down a list of people in my network who I know.
So let's pause there. So that was key right there.
You
went
huge.
To your network first.
Yes. Went to the network first. That's the first thing I looked at because, bottom line is business is about relationships, right? So that should always be the first place you look at. And again, you might have a very messed up relationship with going to your network because maybe you got involved with a network marketing company and they told you to make a list and go hound all of your friends about how great your product is. Well, just because the strategy was flawed doesn't mean the method is not correct. So for example, if you've gotten, screwed in investing, but Warren Buffett tells you you need to invest, the method is not the problem. It's just the way that you were possibly doing it and the strategy you employed. So you have to make a list. Those are customers. Those are potential buyers. I made a list of the people that were relevant to the solution I was providing, meaning there was a very educated guess or educated assumption that those people were suffering from the problem that I helped solve. So you're not just putting friends and family and going to them and just, starting a conversation. This is, seriously, you're putting down a list of people who you believe has this problem. Now, what's a great way to find out a list of people that have the problem? Going out, asking if people have the problem. One of the best ways, one of the easiest things you could do right now, today, it's free. It takes 5 seconds. Go start a Facebook group. Go start on meetup.com a meetup group based around that problem. Say, hey, is anybody suffering from this problem? Or let's say you go start a Facebook group that has to do with a specific form of fitness, like weight loss. People are going to join that group because they're interested in that topic or something. And so
let's say this, like once you get them on the phone, like how would you actually start the dialogue?
So once I was able to, let's say, get them in a group somewhere or get the conversation going in a wider setting, whether it's on Meetup or whether it's in a Facebook group, yes, you start asking questions, and very simple. You're going to find people who are in need of your solution. What do? You ask them to get on the phone with you, right? So you say, hey, I would love to speak with you about solving that problem, or, about what you're struggling with. You get on the phone with them, and the first thing you say is, hello.
You put on Adele's new song. Hello.
Exactly. The next thing you say is not, hey, I have this amazing product, or hey, I know this really, great guy that I want to speak to you with, that I want to put you on the phone with, who is like my mentor. And you don't do that shit. You ask them what they're struggling with and how they have tried overcoming it till this point. Actually talk to them, actually care about what they're going through. And through that conversation, you're going to be able to validate that your solution is the right thing for them. And you might even find some new things out about the problem that you're trying to solve. Maybe there's some nuances that are really critical for you to recognize and to understand. And you're doing a couple of things, right, on that phone call. You're speaking to a potential client. So number one, that's a potential sale right there. Number two, if anything, the worst thing that happens in that conversation is you have extremely valuable data to be able to now go back into the marketplace and speak to. So that call is so valuable. And literally, bottom line is, if you're talking to somebody like that, who you've reached out to this community, you have a very clear assumption and a very clear understanding that they're most likely suffering from a problem because they're in this group. You get on the phone with them, you verify that problem. If you present to them, hey, I have the solution to that, I would love to help you solve it. Are you interested in that? Most people are going to say yes to that question, and then they're going to say yes to your service, obviously, if it's priced correctly and all that other stuff. So doing that, you're going to get the number one thing that you need to grow a business, and that's momentum. If you don't,
I'm glad he talked about that.
Seriously.
Getting the momentum, and it's also gratification on your end.
You are going to feel amazing.
Exactly, yeah.
But why? Why do you feel amazing? And I think this is really key. Why do you feel amazing? Because you actually generated what? Not revenue, not money into your business. You generated energy flow into your business, meaning someone actually believed in you and your product enough to say, yes, I will hand you the monetary form or monetary symbol of energy. That's what it is. They extended that trust in you to provide them a service. And I'll tell you right now, that is the momentum that grows your business. But you have to start with that first. If you spent all that time trying to build a website, which is what most people do, what are you doing? All you're doing is just giving all of your energy to doing something that has no guarantee of return on investment. So try breathing out. Try breathing out right now, all the air in your lungs, and not breathe in. You're going to suffocate yourself, and that's what most businesses do within the first 6 months.
Well, that's a problem, though. This goes back to the Field of Dreams movie. If you build it, it will come, which is absolutely bullshit. And I see it all the time. Even like big brands, they make this mistake, right? I was working this one company. I won't name who's who, but basically they spent north of $100K on this online asset. And I was looking at it. I'm like, who the fuck designed this, and what idea is behind this?
Yeah,
I'm like, I mean, you just lost money. I'm like, this is the most foolish thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, I love that you brought up Field of Dreams, because it immediately brought into my mind. Guess who came once he built that, though? Fucking ghosts, man. That's right. Who's going to come into your business if you think that building a website first and doing all these fancy dancy things are going to make that's who's going to come to your website. It's freaking ghosts. And the mirage of people that you believe are your target market, your quote unquote target market. That's who's going to come to your website. But if you actually revolve your business, the foundation of your business, around speaking to people, getting answers, tangible answers from people, you're going to inevitably build the character traits of who your target market is going to be by the solution you provide around specific problems. That's what you start with.
You also hit something on that's very important over here. Specifically, if you are on the online space, whether it's a membership website, e-commerce, or SaaS, is people are too overindulging these days in the world of automation. You're talking about funnel automation, traffic automation this, automation that. When in reality, what trumps all of this? And I'm going to tell you right now, Jeremy, I'm going to put I'm going to double down on this. Double down on this prediction over here. I predict in the future the best ROI that you're going to get from an online marketing perspective or online platform is having an in-house sales team or in-house customer relationship, customer happiness center where you can actually talk physically with a human being.
I completely agree with you. And what's interesting about that is that I think it's going to be a curve, right? So the curve is going to look like a U shape, right? So right now, we're kind of at like the mixture point where it's still extremely valuable, but you're right. Most people are going automation. And so probably, for the next little while, whether it's a year, whether it's 5 years, it's going to be kind of the lower half of that U shape where, the interaction goes down. The automation is kind of going kind of the high point. But the connection is kind of going down, but it's going to shoot back up for a couple of reasons. Number one, because, again, business is built upon relationships. But just think of it. In the next few years, like you said, most people are going to be going in one direction. And just like Warren Buffett and these people talk about, when you see the crowd going all in one direction, run the other way. And that's exactly what's going to happen. People are going to be going all towards this automation, and they're not going to have any freaking connection or relationship with their audience. Well, guess what? You're going to be on the other side of that, speaking to your audience, connecting with them, building relationships that are actually going to be tangible and sustainable, and you're going to win out in the long run, and you're going to grow a freaking huge business.
So after you had that success with pre-selling it, going to your network, getting a list of people that may benefit from your product, closing some deals, what was the next thing you did?
The next step was reinvesting that. And again, I think this is a mistake that a lot of people make, is that they think they're making money and they've brought in like $5,000. And that might
Cha-ching, baby.
Dude,
Cha-ching.
Seriously, they're thinking, dude, I'm like another $1,000 away or $2,000 or $3,000 away from making six figures. Boom, I just made it. And it's like, dude, no, you need to reinvest almost all of that into now growing your business, maybe creating some funnels, maybe doing some things that are relevant to your business. Now, what I did was I was like, hey, I can make sales talking to people. Let me just do as much of that as I possibly can and build my price up to a point where I feel comfortable. So I was doing that for a good little bit, maybe, a couple of months. Now, what was I selling most people into? I was doing courses, I was doing training. So I would use a GoToWebinar or like a service where I could speak to a group of people. So I was using technology in that sense, but to be able to drive revenue, it was hustling, man, and talking to people. And so, but once I got that, and once I knew that I could consistently bring revenue into the business at any moment when I decided to, meaning, okay, if I want to go make, a few $1,000s today, I know exactly how many people I need to talk to. I know exactly how many people I need to reach out to, whatever. Once I had that consistently known, then I reinvested into growing the systems, building out the systems that would allow me to scale the already proven model that I had. And so
what do you mean by systems? Can you give us like a quick little kind of glimpse of what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good question. So the first thing I ended up doing was, definitely I invested into like a website, but even that was, maybe $30 a month for like a hosting or for hosting and for like a theme or whatever. And then, that included like some like opt-in pages and things like that where I could start like reaching out to people. That was honestly the first step. And you don't even need like a long, an in-depth website. So again, don't think that once you go to the website, okay, now it's time to create all the blogs, be able to have like just this huge information site. Really, honestly, all you need is a landing page that tells people what you do, what's the problem you're solving, who are you, why are you the credible person to be able to solve this problem, and then just here, do you want more information about this? And then get them on your list. Build out the email list, build out the list that you start.
How are you driving traffic to the opt-in pages?
So it's typically the way that I did it was through Facebook and through some other channels in terms of the people that I had in my network. So, for example, I did a couple of speaking engagements. I've done a TED Talk, so I love speaking. I love being in front of people. I love doing workshops like that. And so I ended up doing some speaking engagements with some people that were relevant to my audience, and we just it was like an affiliateship. But I didn't do that until I validated through the sales. So the two things that I reinvested in, just to be clear, I reinvested in my network. So I reached out to someone who I could kind of partner with, do some speaking engagements, kind of reach some more people and build my email list. And then second was I got pretty much a landing page type site. So like literally one scrolling page on your site, no links to like your blog or no links to all these other different pages, literally one page. What's the problem you solve? Who are you? And, maybe some testimonials from the people that you already have gotten into your business. And then drive traffic through Facebook, maybe some groups. Again, if you're doing speaking engagements, if you're doing workshops, and just tell people, hey, this is what I do. Here's my website. Get on my email list. I give great content on a regular basis through email. And that was it.
It's simple. What's the analogy? Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
Dude, seriously, man. Honestly, the focus that I've had from day one, once I made that initial shift of, kind of looking, inward and not asking everybody else to validate my ideas and everything, was honestly, how can I simplify and optimize with purpose and presence? How can I simplify?
I love it.
Simplify and optimize with very strategic purpose and very conscious, like being very, very conscious on what I want to create, and being present to that. So yeah, I think that's where most people, again, just kind of go wrong. It's like they're trying to overcomplicate things. They're trying to build out all these websites. They're trying to do all these things before they do the one thing that would actually allow them to have a business, which is just generate revenue.
Sell.
Dude, seriously.
People are scared of sales. And
Again,
my God, I got to talk to another human being. Oh no, God forbid.
Yeah. The thing is, people are on the surface scared of sales. But it's more so, I think they're scared of the ostracization that comes from miscommunication and rejection. Right. They're afraid of what's going to happen if you miscommunicate selling. Selling can be, I mean, there's a really good, I think it was from Awesomeness Fest, really good talk from somebody who talks about how you can really see selling as an act of, like, one of the greatest acts of love that you could possibly imagine, because what are you selling people? You're selling people a solution to help them get better. Like, how can you think of that in any other way than just positive and amazing? I mean, it's not like you're selling, unless you're selling them like freaking, peanuts or like, something that has no massively intrinsic value beyond maybe like a few bucks. I mean, yeah.
Well, on that notion, do you recommend any sales book or any books on communication to help people out?
Dude, I love that question. That's a good question, because there's so many good resources, to be honest with you. It's like saying pick your favorite movie. I know. I would say, one guy that I honestly really like a lot, just in terms of the way that he delivers his message. I think he's just entertaining and at least gets my attention. Grant Cardone. I think he does. Serious. Yeah. I think he's awesome with selling, obviously, but in terms of his, the way he delivers everything, it's really good. So I think Sell or Be Sold. Sell or Be Sold, his primary book on selling, is a good one.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, let's start wrapping up things. Jeremy, I just want to thank you so much for being really open about your journey in growing your business and scaling your business, and sharing all your very, very insightful pieces. Absolutely. Where can people find more information about you and your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can go to jeremybellotti.com, and it's also Jeremy Bellotti across all social media. So at Jeremy Bellotti, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, what is it? Instagram. What's it? Oh, Periscope and
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, all that stuff. So
you're on Periscope like crazy. You're crushing that.
Yeah, Periscope's going well. And then also, dude, Blab, man. I think Blab is where it's at. I think that's going to be the next one that's going to blow up.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, just think of what Periscope is, and you're able to actually bring people on and communicate with them, and like interaction. Again, it's that level of connection. So I think that's definitely a good one too.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and also another thing in terms of lead generation, I think is really important to understand. Everything is value. So everything is value. So even sending someone to, for example, your Facebook group. If you are going to invite somebody into your Facebook group, like let's say you send an email let's say you're promoting to get into this Facebook group that's going to add a lot of value for someone. Why not send them to an opt-in page first and collect their email and say, hey, this is, you're going to get part of a community that's going to help you, that's going to grow with you, that's going to, we're going to be doing some amazing stuff, and, join this community, and I'll also send you this amazing gift as a thank you to your inbox. There's just so many ways to communicate differently that allows people to really see the value that you offer. And that's how you do it. And that's how you grow your list. That's how you grow your connections.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks.
All right, man. Have a great day.
You too, man.
This has been the Growth 48 podcast. Thanks for listening.